Welcome you all my lecture series of machine learning. In this video, we are going to see the topic on k-means clustering in terms of two-dimensional data points. In the previous video, we know that what is a clustering. So clustering is nothing but it is a process of grouping the data points in the similar data points into the clusters or groups. So in the k-means clustering, we have the two types of method. We are based upon the data points. Suppose the data points is the single dimensional data points means we have to calculate the Euclidean distance between the new centroid and the data point and find the cluster formations and repeat the process until the new cluster is not formed. So the same thing is repeated in terms of the two-dimensional data points. So in the k-means clustering in the two-dimensional is an unsupervised learning algorithms. It find the group 2D data points into the distinct clusters based on the distances and proximity. So the algorithm iteratively finds the center of each cluster and minimizing the distance between the points and the assigned center. So effectively this partitioning the 2D data into the spatial region. So that is a process is comes under the k-means clustering in terms of two-dimensional data point. So here the key aspect in the 2D k-means clustering, where the data representation is the 2D format. For example, we have x1, x2 data points, x comma y regions, data points. Next, we are going to use the Euclidean distance formula for calculating the distance between the new centroid and the data points. So what is the Euclidean distance formula means? The distance of x1 comma p1 is equal to root of x1 comma x to the whole square plus y1 comma y to the whole square. So based upon the formula, we are going to calculate the distance between the centroid value and the data points of x comma y regions. And the algorithm steps is like, first we are going to initialize the k value. The same algorithm steps is in the 2D dimension also. We are going to initialize the k value in the beginning itself. Next, we are going to assign each data point to the closest centroid and update. After that, calculate the mean of all the points assigned to the particular cluster to find the new centroid value and repeat the steps 2, 1, 3 until the no new cluster is formed. So this is the process of 2D k-means clustering. So we are initialize the k value and assign the data points to the clusters in the minimum centroid based upon the minimum centroid value and calculate the mean of all the points assigned to the particular clusters to form the new centroid value. So repeat the process 2, 1, 3 and finally we stop the process when the new cluster is not formed. For example, you have one problem like we have the data points like 2, 10, 2, 5, 8, 4 and 15, 8, 7, 5 and 6, 4 and 1, 2 and 4, 9. So in that task, we are going to form the 3 clusters for the given data points. Now the distance calculation, for the distance calculation, we are using the k-means clustering, Euclidean distance formula. And initially we are assigning the new centroid value of A1, B1, C1 as the center of each cluster respectively. For example, the initial central value of A1 is 2, 10 and B1 is 5, 10 and C1 is 1, 2. So the same process is repeated in the like 20 dimensional. First column shows that data points value A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3. So we have the 8 data points of x, y coordinates. And next thing, we have to calculate the distance between the A1 to first data points, and A1 to all the data points distance, and B1 to all the data points distance, and C1 to all the data points distance, using the Euclidean distance formula. Like for example, distance of P1 comma P2 is equal to root of x2 comma x1 the whole square plus y2 comma y1 the whole square. So here the x1 y1 is the data point coordinate, and x2 y2 is the centroid value coordinate. So we are calculating the distance of all the data points to each centroid values, and finally we form the cluster like which one has the minimum value, that data points belongs to the particular clusters. So we form the clusters like for the 8 data points 1, 3, 2, 2 like that. So after that from the clusters we are calculating the again a new centroid value, like A1 is equal to 2 comma 10, B1 is equal to 6 comma 10, and C1 is equal to 1.5 comma 3.5. So this process is repeated until the new centroid is formed. So finally, what is the output is the current the cluster. Finally, we form the 3 cluster. The cluster 1 contains the A1, B1, C2, and cluster 2 contains that A3, B2, and B3, and cluster 3 contains the data point A2, comma C1, and the centroid value is A1 for the A1 cluster. The centroid value is 3.67 comma 9, and for the B1 cluster the centroid value is 7 comma 4.3, and for the C1 third cluster the centroid value is 1.5 comma 3.5. So this is the process. We are going to find the clusters and centroid value of the two-dimensional data points using the k-means clustering. Thank you.